This week, the Pilot's Bill of Rights is passed into law. Airshow jelly bean Kent Pietsch is recovering from a mishap in Canada. And Greg Koontz proves that it pays to be both lucky and good. I'm Ashley Hale. Welcome to the bi-weekly edition of Airborne here on Aero-TV. After having taken a few days off last week for a little R&R after Oshkosh, we're back in the swing of our normal Tuesday and Friday Airborne rotation. Thanks for tuning in. U.S. Senator Jim Inhofe, a member of the Senate General Aviation Caucus and a certified flight instructor, said Friday that his Pilot's Bill of Rights has been officially signed into law. Inhofe has worked to pass the legislation for the past year. In the Senate, where the bill enjoyed co-sponsorship by 65 other senators, the measure passed by unanimous consent in June. The House passed the measure by a voice vote. In celebrating the accomplishment, Senator Inhofe said, quote, "Just last week at Oshkosh, we celebrated the bill getting through Congress. Now, with the president's signature, it is officially the law of the land. This bill remedies many of the most serious deficiencies in the relationship between general aviation and the FAA. And it ensures that pilots are like everyone else and get treated in a fair and equitable manner by the justice system." A well-known and highly experienced member of the airshow community is recovering from an accident in his 1942 Jelly Belly Interstate Cadet. Airshow pilot Kent Pietsch is reportedly in stable condition following a Saturday accident that occurred during the first day of a weekend airshow, in which he was listed as a feature performer. Wetaskiwin is some 70 kilometers south of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. According to local media reports, Ken had finished a performance at the show when the accident occurred, in which the aircraft flew close to the ground in a bank, struck a wingtip, and thereafter impacted just off the runway. Some reports indicate that a power failure may have led to the accident. The Jelly Belly aircraft is a popular sight at a number of North American air shows. Kent Pietsch uses the 1942 Interstate Cadet as part of a comedy act, which includes extreme maneuvers such as the aileron falling off in mid-air. Pietsch hails from Minot, North Dakota, and has been a consistent presence on the airshow circuit, as well as a member of a highly regarded airshow family. He reportedly soloed in 1967 at the age of 16, and his online bio notes that he has performed in more than 400 airshows. Greg Koontz, known for his precise work in a bright red Decathlon, showed up with a new plane for this year's Oshkosh. And in a matter of minutes, he wound up using a little more of his luck and his skill than he probably cared to expend. On Thursday afternoon at AirVenture, Koontz was in the midst of his aerobatic act, setting into a slow roll while building up to 150 knots, and then leveling out before pulling 4 positive G's to start a loop that would have had a snap off the top. That is, had he not found himself suddenly and without warning laying across the back seat of the plane. The seat failed as he pitched up and flew 45 degrees pitch positive. The only warning he received was a big bang, after which he found himself laying across the back seat. Thanks to both his skill and a little bit of luck, Koontz recovered the aircraft and landed safely. An inspection found that the seat in question was missing a small, almost unnoticeable support spar where the seat weld had broken. Usually we say I'd rather be lucky than good, but on this day it was far better for Koontz to have been both lucky and good. Now there's a lot more to the full story, so log on and read the details in Monday's prop wash at www.aero-news.net. You're watching Airborne, more in a moment, including the Curiosity rover now on Mars.
Redbird Skyport is a multifaceted aviation laboratory charged with developing innovative solutions to the issues facing the industry.
It started out as a vision for a laboratory where we could objectively measure the systems and the processes that we were developing. Being able to put some objective measures behind the anecdotal evidence that we have about the value of motion and the application of this technology is very, very important, because until we can objectively measure it and play that data back, we can't design training systems that make the best use of it.
For more information about Redbird flight simulations, as well as Redbird's new Skyport, visit www.redbirdflightsimulations.com or www.redbirdskyport.com.
Welcome back. If you'd like to suggest a story for Airborne, Aero-TV, our website, or our podcast, send us an email to news-by@aero-news.net. NASA has put itself back in the business of exploring Mars, with the successful landing of the rover Curiosity in the early morning hours on Monday, Eastern Daylight Time.
There was no dramatic radio call like "Houston, the Eagle has landed," but the excitement throughout NASA in the wee hours of Monday morning was just as palpable. The 7 minutes of terror turned into 7 minutes of triumph as the Mars Science Laboratory, or MSL, spacecraft that carried Curiosity succeeded in nearly every step of the most complex landing ever attempted on Mars.
Touchdown confirmed. We're safe on Mars.
Including the final severing of the bridle cords and flyaway maneuver of the rocket backpack. Curiosity landed at 22:32 on August 5th Pacific Time, which translates into 01:32 Monday morning on the East Coast, near the foot of a mountain nearly 3 miles tall and 96 miles in diameter inside Gale Crater. Confirmation of Curiosity's successful landing came in communications relayed by NASA's Mars Odyssey orbiter and received by the Canberra, Australia antenna station of NASA's Deep Space Network. NASA Administrator Charles Bolden said, quote, "Today the wheels of Curiosity have begun to blaze the trail for human footprints on Mars. Curiosity, the most sophisticated rover ever built, is now on the surface of the Red Planet, where it will seek to answer age-old questions about whether life ever existed on Mars or if the planet can sustain life in the future," end quote. During a nearly 2-year prime mission, the rover will investigate whether the region ever offered conditions favorable for microbial life. For Airborne, I'm Tom Patton.
Some 170 workers at Hawker Beechcraft's Little Rock factory received layoff notices last Thursday as the company negotiates the sale of its GA and business jet divisions to a Chinese company. The 60-day notices are required by federal law. The Associated Press reports that the factory customizes aircraft interiors and performs maintenance and repairs. HBC said it was trimming its domestic workforce as part of the sales negotiations. The Little Rock facility employs about 450 workers. The notices went out to both hourly and salaried employees of the company. The pilots of United and Continental Airlines, after more than 2 years of negotiating with the company for a joint collective bargaining agreement, and with the assistance of the National Mediation Board, have reached an agreement in principle with United Continental Holdings on major economic issues. While some details of an agreement still remain open, the pilots are confident a final AIP can be worked out in the coming days. Negotiations have been under the supervision of the National Mediation Board, with a strike vote by the pilots looming overhead. Terms of the agreement must now be converted into a tentative agreement. Until that process is complete, details of the TA will not be released. The TA will be presented independently to ALPA's governing bodies for each of the Continental and United pilot groups for consideration. If approved, it will be sent to the pilots of both carriers for a combined ratification vote. It's Tuesday, and that means it's time for our viewer-suggested video, a feature we call our Aero Video of the Week.
Mock POGO, my 904.
Long before there were Game Boys or even Pong, back in the days when kids actually used to go outside and play, a popular toy was the pogo stick. It was and still is a simple spring-loaded balancing toy that you stand on and use to jump up and down. In this video, we learn the Air Force has its own POGO cruise with a unique balancing mission. To find this video, search YouTube for POGO Cruise.
105-foot wing.
Our final story today gives an entirely new meaning to the term hot dog pilot. Since 1992, customers passing through Sportys Pilot Shop in Clermont County have been treated to free hot dogs at noon. Rain or shine, summer or winter, the free hot dogs were probably more reliable than the Postal Service. Now, Sportys reports to Airborne that just a few days before the opening of AirVenture, Ian Seeger stopped by in a Cessna 182 on the way to Oshkosh, and he got a hot dog. But not just any hot dog. Seeger's hot dog was Sportys' 200,000th served. Phil Boyer, former AOPA president, ate the 150,000 hot dog 5 years ago. And now Michael Wolf, Sportys president and CEO, says they'll have to plan something extra special for the 250,000th hot dog, saying, quote, "That will be 250,000 tube steaks, all enjoyed by our customers and friends." Trying to put it all in perspective, Wolf added, "If all the hot dogs Sportys served were laid end to end on our runway, we'd have 28 rows of hot dogs up and down 422. Now in its 51st year, Sportys has grown from a one-man operation launched by Hal Sheevers to the world's largest pilot shop and an iconic general aviation brand. Sportys is philanthropically dedicated to expanding the general aviation community with both pilots and skilled technicians. That's our program for Tuesday, August 7th, and just in time because a couple of chili cheese dogs sound pretty good right about now. I'm Ashley Hale. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again Friday with another edition of Airborne here on Aero TV.